Welcome to This Explainer. Listen, I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we are going to unpack something truly radical. What if I told you that most people aren't struggling financially just because they're lazy or unlucky or, unintelligent? Instead, they're actually trapped inside an invisible psychological system. It's an architecture entirely designed to control how they think about money from the absolute second they are born. Every single day, millions of people wake up stressed about bills and just surviving, while a tiny percentage quietly keeps getting richer. Well, today, we are going to completely dismantle that invisible architecture.
So, why are you still broke? If you're a young adult who is just exhausted by the constant hustle and you feel like you're doing absolutely everything right but you still have empty pockets at the end of the month, I want to validate that exhaustion right now. It is incredibly frustrating. But here is the secret. Your financial stress might actually be by design. There are invisible habits and deeply ingrained emotional patterns quietly keeping you trapped in a loop. Let's look at how this builds right from the very beginning. The dark psychology of money starts by planting tiny seeds of fear in our earliest memories. Think about the phrases we absorb growing up. Money is hard to earn, rich people are greedy, we can't afford that, or people like us never become wealthy. When you water a tiny seed of fear for 20 years, it grows into a massive subconscious belief. These aren't just passing comments from our parents or society. They literally become the rigid lens through which we view every single adult financial decision. And this problem is heavily compounded by a massive gap in our education. Think about it. We spend over a decade mastering the Pythagorean theorem and memorizing formulas we'll probably never use again. Seriously, when was the last time you used calculus? But the things we actually need to survive: investing, taxes, budgeting, negotiation, and understanding how debt trapped people for decades, completely ignored. We enter the workforce, get that first exciting paycheck, and we are flying totally blind when it comes to how money actually works. That blindness leads us directly into a major trap: the dopamine spending cycle. Companies understand human psychology way better than we understand ourselves. They use triggers like flash sales or those fake influencer luxury lifestyles to provoke impulsive emotional spending. Why? Because you're emotionally exhausted from your job and you're just looking for some validation or an escape. The result is a temporary dopamine hit that fades incredibly fast, leaving your brain craving the very next purchase, emptying your pockets, and locking you into an endless loop. To make matters worse, the everyday tools we use are rigged against us. When you hand over physical cash, you literally feel it leaving your hands, right? There's actual psychological pain attached to it. But credit cards? They make spending completely invisible. Banks know perfectly well that by disconnecting you from the pain of a purchase, you're going to spend far more than you normally would. This is exactly how financial institutions profit off late fees and loans, burying people in debt before their 20s even end. So, the crucial point here is that we often trick ourselves into thinking, hey, if I just make more money, all my problems will be solved. But then we get hit by something called lifestyle inflation. You dream of earning a higher salary, but the second you get it, you upgrade your phone, your rent, your clothes, your vacations. Your brain adapts so quickly to comfort that yesterday's luxury just becomes today's baseline normal. This is exactly why even high-income earners find themselves living paycheck to paycheck, feeling totally broke. Okay, let's dive into this next section: breaking the illusion, assets versus lifestyle liabilities. Wealth isn't determined just by your income, it's determined by your habits, your financial discipline, and breaking the illusion of what you're actually buying. Rich people think fundamentally differently about money, and we need to distinguish between actual assets and lifestyle liabilities. Here are 3 simple ways to do that, starting with the first distinction. Look at the literal direction your cash is flowing. A liability takes money out of your pocket. Most people spend years buying things that simply drain their accounts. But an asset puts money into your pocket over time. Wealthy people focus obsessively on acquiring things that generate cash flow. The second simple way to tell them apart is to look at how the value behaves over time. For example, one person might buy really expensive depreciating sneakers just to impress strangers. But another person takes that exact same amount of cash and puts it into something appreciating, like real estate, a small business, or learning a profitable skill. Fast forward 10 years, and because of this single distinction, their lives are going to look completely different. And the third distinction is all about purpose and utility. Society constantly rewards appearances over reality, right? Pressuring us to buy social approval for weddings, festivals, or just empty status symbols. You really have to ask yourself, are you just buying identity and validation sold by the entertainment industry, or are you buying true assets like profitable skills, choices, freedom, and peace of mind?
True assets are what actually buy you out of this system. But what actually stops us from buying those true assets? Well, it's the irony of fear. So many people are utterly terrified of investing. They fear losing money or failing at a business, so they seek safety and comfort instead. But ironically, while they're frozen by this fear of investing, they completely ignore the fact that inflation is quietly destroying the value of their unused cash every single year. Managing this fear, rather than letting it run your life, is absolutely crucial for financial freedom. This fear often morphs into a hidden psychological trap called learned helplessness. If you've experienced repeated financial struggles or disappointments, your mind can actually become conditioned to just expect failure. You unconsciously stop believing that improvement is even possible, so you stop trying. I really want to validate that struggle. It is real and it's heavy. But this conditioning guarantees you'll miss out on the incredible opportunities sitting right in front of you. So how do we overcome this helplessness today? First, you have to recognize that the modern attention economy actively wants you distracted, because distracted people are way easier to control and sell to. Second, you've got to stop the endless scrolling through entertainment. And third, flip the script. Actually, scratch that. It's not even about intelligence anymore, because the internet made knowledge entirely free. A teenager with a smartphone can learn coding, editing, or marketing without paying a dime. The gap today is entirely about your focus and your discipline. When you start applying that daily discipline, you experience the invisible growth of wealth. Think of compound interest like planting a seed. On day 1, it's completely underground. Even by year 3, the progress is mostly invisible as the roots grow stronger beneath the soil. Because modern tech has trained us to expect instant results, most people just quit here. But if you replace that need for an instant dopamine hit with real patience for future stability, by year 10, those repeated small investments compound into enormous, highly visible wealth. Now, to maintain that patience, you have to curate your surroundings. Your environment shapes your financial destiny far more than you probably realize. If you're surrounded by gossiping, complaining, and just general negativity, your mindset becomes super limited. But if you surround yourself with ambitious, disciplined, growth-focused people, you begin thinking entirely differently about money and opportunities. This is exactly why successful people are fiercely protective of their time and energy. Which brings us to the ultimate mindset shift you need to make right now. You have to stop looking at your money and asking, what can I buy today? Instead, you must ask, what can improve my future tomorrow? That single, simple question changes absolutely everything. It shifts your daily habits from spending just to impress strangers to cultivating the patience you need to build long-term stability and opportunities for yourself. And this brilliantly illustrates the reality of the situation. Staying broke forever is rarely caused by one giant mistake. It's actually caused by thousands of small, unconscious decisions repeated every single day. But the incredible news here is that wealth is built the exact same way. Thousands of small, positive daily habits repeated consistently over time can and absolutely will completely transform your future. I love this quote. Remember this. Time is more valuable than money because money lost can return, but lost years never come back. Do not spend your healthiest, most vibrant years chasing temporary pleasures or building someone else's dream while entirely neglecting your own future. You deserve the freedom that comes with true financial discipline. Which leaves us with this final thought to carry with you. Are your daily habits building your freedom, or are they tightening your chains? Because financial freedom isn't about some weird obsession with money. It's about gaining choices and protecting your peace of mind. I really hope this explainer has opened your eyes to the invisible systems operating all around you. Take control of your focus, take control of your daily decisions, and start building your true wealth today. Thanks so much for joining me.